Welcome to the show that teaches you the things your parents and teachers are too afraid to. The heliosblog. Today, Andrew Tate smacked with new charges. It's not looking good, guys.
The reason she's alone is because she's difficult.
Women are not accepting the bare minimum.
Women fuck men they respect.
All the women who say things like, I'm strong, independent, I don't need no man, like, y'all impress me.
Women just gaslight each other and say what they want to hear.
All right, so things are not looking too good for the Tate brothers. The charges just keep piling up, and it's looking...
So here's the update. Let me read. The latest document from the Bucharest court indicates that at least 12 more potential human trafficking victims could be added to their case. And if added, this would bring the total number of victims to 61 across all their cases, both criminal and civil. Andrew and Tristan currently have a total of 49 alleged victims across their criminal and civil cases in Romania and the UK.
Worse and worse for them. Even the biggest Tate fan account on Twitter can't deny how bad this looks. So it's getting really hard for the Tate fanboys to defend them at this point.
There are official transcripts released by the Romanian courts in the second Tate case involving the 15-year-old minor Tate is allegedly accused of sleeping with, and they're truly disturbing and horrifying. And then that person will not post it as they risk an account suspension.
And it seems like the only prominent media personalities that will still support them are people who are either being paid by them or are personally connected to them. Like this guy, Ryan Dawson, he admits to being paid by the Tates. And Fresh and Fit, Myron admits to spending a month with...
So here's what Myron said. People ask why I'm so loyal to the Tate brothers, publicly defending them on the podcast in light of all the accusations they've gotten. Well, here's one of the many reasons why. In late 2022, Cobra Tate and Tate the Talisman graciously opened their home to me and let me stay for approximately a month. During this time, he saw an unshakable relationship between two brothers that most men would never get the privilege of having. These guys are extremely respectful, polite, and most importantly, chivalrous towards women. He personally watched them walk women to the taxis, pay and ensure they got home safely, and so on.
The Tates in Romania. And then Candace Owens, who's probably the most influential person to still support them. She has a picture of Andrew in her home office, and her husband said he's known the Tates for years, like well before their...
Wait, Candace has a husband? Wow, big surprise. You mean a conservative woman has a husband? Say it ain't so.
Famous. So of course she's going to defend them because I'd imagine her husband has at least known about and possibly participated in some of the Tate's degeneracy. I mean, like Tate said himself in an old tweet.
Here is an old Tate tweet. Everyone wants to be friends with the PIMP. Doubt me? Epstein had access to, look at his effing friends list. It's basic human psychology. I have the assets every man who's not a hating B-word wishes they had. And the next best thing to being me is knowing me.
People were friends with him for the same reason people were friends with Jeffrey Epstein. And if you remember, I talked about Candace and her husband's connection to the Tates in a previous video about them. And coincidentally, the next day after I posted that video, the Tate's house was raided and they're charged with trafficking a minor.
Okay, so this is the tweet from before. The compound of Andrew and Tristan Tate, as well as some other properties, have been raided for the following new allegations involving new victims: forming an organized criminal group, trafficking minors, human trafficking of new victims, bedroom fun with a minor, money laundering, influencing statements, bribery, witness intimidation.
With a bunch of other terrible stuff.
Lordy Lord.
And one of the accusations is in 2020,
Okay, 2020. Andrew Tate is charged with repeatedly engaging, R-word, in bedroom fun with a 15-year-old girl. My Lord.
Not too long ago. I mean, a lot of Tate fans say this all happened 10 years ago. It's all old news. He's changed. Even though it doesn't matter when this happened, it'd still be terrible. But Andrew's being accused of having intercourse with a 15-year-old girl in 2020.
Knowing that she was?
And apparently there's a chat transcript that's going to be released or has been released that people say is too disturbing to even post on Twitter.
My Lord.
Even the Tate fan account, the Tate news.
There's official transcripts released by the Romanian courts in the second Tate case involving the 15-year-old minor that are utterly disturbing and horrifying. He will not be posting them.
Account, which is usually pro-Tate. They said there are official transcripts released by the Romanian
courts
that involve a 15-year-old minor Tate is allegedly accused of sleeping with, and they're truly disturbing and horrifying. I will not be posting them here as I risk my account being suspended. And then also Tate is being accused of trying to bribe the alleged victim. They said...
Andrew Tate's 15-year-old victim speaks. Andrew told me that when I go to Dicot, I should only say good things about him, just like X did. For this, he offered me the sum of 5,000 euros, but he only gave me the equivalent in British pounds, which was just 2,500 euros in cash.
Andrew told me when I got to Dicot, I should only say good things about him, just like the other person did, and he offered me the sum of 5,000 euros. And I wish I could say this is surprising, but the Tates have made it very clear they don't think there's anything wrong with having intercourse with a 15-year-old. You know, I played that compilation in my last video, but also there's some tweets.
No way.
From them, like Tristan, he said, remember guys, 30 is the first year you can legally F a woman half your age. And some Americans call me a P-word because I don't think 18 is the age of consent. It's 15, 16 almost everywhere else. And Andrew, he said, in the West, they've convinced everybody that a man who wants to have sex with a bunch of young models is a bad person and a weirdo, when it's actually the most natural thing in the world. So many people marry for image and F kids on the sly for pleasure. Kids don't talk. And these tweets are from around 2020 and 2021.
Whoa. Okay.
So when you hear Andrew might be having intercourse with a 15-year-old around this time, does it seem that surprising? And then also, there's another minor. He's being...
The allegations against Andrew Tate for having bedroom fun with a 15-year-old date back to December 2020. The 17-year-old victim is from 2014 to 2021. She was allegedly forced to work webcam. This is what his friends, fans, and troll army are defending right now. Lordy Lord. And look at his... Tate looks angry, but look at his brother. His brother looks very worried. That was my first thought when he came out of the... courtroom to shout at the cameras, at the media. His brother looks genuinely worried.
Accused of trafficking. And this is the girl that he admitted himself he met when she was 15.
So Vivian's been with me 6 years.
So he's been with Vivian for 6 years, right?
Because Vivian's younger. Melissa's like 28. Vivian's like 21.
Vivian's 21. And at this point, he's been her girlfriend for 6 years. It means that they met when she was 15 years old.
Because Vivian's younger.
And then apparently Dicot was able to...
The fact that the victim was a minor results from the information obtained following requests for letters, rogatory, I don't know what that is, revealing at the time of creating the account on the My Free Cams platform, she was 17 years old, regarding the crimes of human trafficking and complicity in human trafficking attributed to the defendants. The judge notes that these result from corroborating the victim's statements with data obtained from international letters rogatory, but also from the minutes of rendering conversations conducted in writing through messaging applications.
To get evidence to corroborate that she's only 17 when she first started her cam model account, which is obviously under the legal age of making adult content. And that was in 2014. And this is the same girl that Andrew...
Dicot has evidence that Andrew Tate started exploiting Vivian at the age of 17 in 2014. The infamous belt-beating video is filmed in 2012. Her home country has confirmed her age via letters, rogatory, and other evidence.
Was beating with a belt in that video that got him kicked off Big Brother, and he said that was in 2012, so that would make her 15 years old in that video.
Oh my.
And this girl has also talked about how she's seen guys choke their girlfriends so hard during sex that they kill them.
Behind like why some girls don't like it because they're scared they're gonna die. I've actually seen some guys accidentally, how funny is that? Accidentally kill their girlfriends during the sex because they were choking them that hard.
And it's insane how casually she says that. Like, yeah, I've seen guys choke their girlfriends to death before during sex. It's no big deal. I mean, this girl has some serious problems, which...
My. Guys, I don't even... I had no idea about any of this. This is crazy. This is, beyond...
Would make sense if she's been with Andrew Tate.
I'm cringing very hard right now.
Since she was 15 years old. I'm sure she's been through a lot of shit and seen a lot of shit. Also in the indictment, they talked about Andrew and this other alleged victim and how he is choking her so hard.
Okay, here's the quote. Andrew Tate was choking this woman with one hand while he's hitting her in the temple with the other. She believed she was going to be unalived. She didn't consent. He was choking her so hard the blood vessels in her eyes burst. My.
It burst a blood vessel in her eye. Like they said, Andrew was hitting her in the head with one hand and choking her with the other, which resulted in immense pressure felt by the victim as...
Okay, Well, guys, here's, I guess an explicit content warning. So those of you who, you're squeamish or whatever, please do not listen to the following information. Okay, you will not like it. Alright, you've been warned. Okay, so here's a transcript. Having bedroom fun intercourse with the defendant, Tate III, Emery Andrew, he was hitting the victim on the head with one of his hands, right on the temple, not on the face, and with the other at the same time he was choking the victim. Thus the eye injury was not caused by the blows to the head inflicted by the defendant, but was the result of immense pressure felt by the victim as a result of strangulation. According to the victim, during the allegedly violent bedroom fun, she felt that she was on the verge of dying. The injury to the eye consisted of burst blood vessels in the eyeball. My. Okay, there's rough bedroom fun, and then there's this.
As a result of strangulation, and according to the victim, she felt like she was on the verge of death. And obviously, these are still just allegations. I know Tate fans, their main defense is just, well, it's innocent until proven guilty. But I understand that. I'm not saying they're guilty. I'm just stating some of the facts and talking about what's in the indictment and occasionally giving my opinion. And honestly, before he was ever charged with anything, I really didn't have anything against him. I thought he was pretty funny and I'd actually defend him. So I'm just trying to look at this objectively, which I know a lot of people have trouble doing. Like, I guarantee every Tate fan that's currently defending him, if you were to take somebody they dislike and basically accuse them of all the same stuff Tate is being accused of with all the same evidence, take Hunter Biden or somebody on the left or somebody they dislike and put him in Tate's spot, they would definitely be the first ones to call him a PDF.
Well, no. My first thought would be probably untrue and being used to hurt the person in some way. But that would be my first thought. And then the second thought would be, holy God, if it's real, it's horrific.
A file and a trafficker and say they're R-wording girls and, they would never give them the benefit of the doubt. Like Candace Owens, when she's talking about the Tates, she just sounds completely delusional. She'll spend all this time on her podcast talking about how bad adult content is and how the people that make it are using trafficked women and everybody in power is a PDF file and the media is always trying to cover for them and all this stuff. But then when it comes to the Tates, who are known for making adult content and made a lot of their money through that and have been accused of trafficking and having intercourse with a minor, what does she try to do? Cover for them. And she says people are just after them because they don't like what they say on the internet and their case is complete.
Well, it is certainly true that people don't like what they say on the internet. And it's certainly true that they're doggedly pursuing Andrew and Tristan as a result. That's certainly true. But is it also possibly true, should this come out to be the case, that they've done some bad things? Well, I mean, that goes without saying.
Completely bogus. Like, it's insane that anybody could take her seriously after this. She's just destroying all her credibility, and it just makes me think, what is the dirt they have on her husband?
Men are cowards. I've been saying this for a very long time. I was trending over the weekend, speaking about how we have people in the media who won't even stand up against pedophilia. Men that won't stand up against pedophilia because they're worried about losing their station in life if they offend the wrong people. That's pathetic. It defies common sense when you understand what's happening.
Well, here's the thing. The way that power works is there are keys to power, right? And if you offend those keys, you don't have power anymore. So, there is such a thing as having dirt on someone, right?
Happening in this world, when you understand what's happening at our border, when you understand the network of pedophiles that are in power, when you understand how the mainstream media works overtime to defend and protect those pedophiles, it boggles the mind that there would be this much effort and coordination to take down the Tate brothers because some people don't like what they
Indeed. No, that's certainly true.
Say on the internet. The Romanian case against them has been bogus for a very long time. And as I have said, I believe that in the end, in Romania, they will prevail. Now it's about money laundering. Is it about a webcam business? Is it about human sex trafficking? Is it about all three, according to the public? Why does the media hate these two men so much when we know there are worse villains? The people that are making billions off of pornography get arrested because we know for a fact that those websites are trafficking or are using trafficked women. You ever seen them crack down on any of those pornographers? Why haven't they done that? So you want me to believe, you want me to essentially just, I guess, defy all of my sensibility for a moment and believe that it's Andrew and Tristan Tate.
Yeah, so she just...
I mean, I'm inclined to agree with that. We know that they're not the main problem, right? And there are people that are worse than them in the world. That's undoubtedly true. But those people have more power, more ability to defend themselves, ultimately.
Just completely losing it here. I mean, I don't know how she doesn't realize how ridiculous this sounds. It's just so ironic.
It doesn't sound ridiculous, actually. I believe the commentator here is showing his bias.
She's talking about how the media protects PDF files when it kind of seems like that's what she's trying to do. And
sure, I mean, again, her point is still accurate. They are not the main problem.
Just unbelievable. While she's defending the Tates from trafficking accusations, she says that adult content producers are using trafficked women to make the content, and the authorities should crack down on that. When that's literally what they're doing with the Tates. They're being accused of trafficking women and a minor to make adult content. And I'm pretty sure they're running their cam business basically up until they got raided the first time. And then also they used to teach a course on how to pimp out women, so they're probably responsible for a lot of people getting into it. So she just sounds ridiculous, and I've been covering this a lot over on Patreon. I've been talking about Tate has been trying to clean up his image for the past few years by becoming religious and donating money, claiming to donate a lot of money to...
All right, let's continue.
A new interview has come out of the man trying to take down Andrew Tate, which comes from an old situation where women had gone to the authorities in the UK and accused him of an R charge, and it got dropped by the CPS, the Crown Prosecution Service, but he has given an interview about why they're still trying to press charges against Tate all these years later.
Okay, so here's the quote. Let's just read it. So, here are the people. We write today following the news that Andrew is under investigation for further claims against him for human trafficking and bedroom fun with a minor. We're saddened but not surprised by these allegations and are pleased that the Romanian authorities are taking action. We hope that this will prompt them to reconsider detaining the Tate brothers until their trial. We stand in solidarity with the alleged victims of Tate and will not stop fighting until we get justice.
So I think I mentioned earlier, I was reading about Tate and his alleged crimes in Romania, but also became aware of the allegations against him concerning the rape and sexual assault of women here in the UK. And I reached out to the journalists who'd been reporting on that and asked them to pass on that if the women wanted to talk to me, I'd be very happy to do so and see if we could provide them any support. And what that led to is our understanding of how those women have been terribly let down by the UK authorities. That's both the...
Listen, women have the right to make accusations, but again, it's the other way round. The lawyer has gone to the women asking them about the situation. The woman should be going to the lawyer trying to find out a solution for the crime. Same thing in Romania. The authorities over there are going to these women to say, you are victims. The women ain't coming out on their own accord. This guy has literally just said on an interview he went to approach them women to come up with a case against Tate. He clearly doesn't like him as well.
The police, so that would be the Hertfordshire Constabulary, who were investigating the criminal complaints that they filed. And this was back in 2014. And I think that's very important because a lot of what Tate and his supporters rely upon is saying somehow that this is a shakedown. This is all about going after a man who's so-called rich and successful, and they're only interested in bringing these allegations and these claims because of his fame and because they're just trying to get money out of him.
Regardless how you slice it and dice it, whether he's innocent or guilty, that is true. Even you...
Again, I'm inclined to agree with this point. Certainly they're going after him because he's famous. Certainly they're going after him because he pushed the wrong buttons. He rubbed many people the wrong way. Certainly, they're using quote unquote a new term that I heard recently, which is called lawfare. It's like warfare, but using the law. So use the law to try to destroy them, right? That's what's happening.
You, the lawyer, are trying to publicize yourself because it's a high-profile case. The fact that Tate has become famous has made a difference in this situation. You're not going up to random women that have accused a guy of an R charge and he got away with it. You're doing it about someone in the public eye.
I mean, it's an absolute nonsense. So they brought criminal complaints in 2014 with the UK police, and as I said, specifically the Hertfordshire police, and that will become important in a moment. And interdependently, those complaints were filed. These victims, two of the victims knew each other, but the other two weren't aware of the other victims or otherwise. So again, any allegations that there's some form of collusion, again, is a complete nonsense.
What? Okay, well, you say that, but okay. We're supposed to accept that at face value.
And all of these complaints were of rape and sexual assault. And the through line of all of these complaints is that Tate would throttle these women until they were unconscious and the blood vessels burst in their eyes, and then would proceed to have sex with them.
I'm not sure that that's exactly how that went down. And here's what's interesting. Okay, I'm going to point this out just for those of you in the audience who are students of female nature. Look at the girl's response. Look at how she looks in response to hearing that. Do you see how she's got, like... Again, guys who know. Those are bedroom eyes. She's attracted to that. Like... Let's watch her body language for a second.
With charges of this nature, whenever there's numbers involved, one, they'll say a woman could be lying if it's one person. Two, they could say, look, there's two.
This is stock footage.
People, 3, 4. But we see with Benjamin Mendy, there was like 10 plus victims. In the end, he was not guilty. He emphasizes a lot, saying that there was numerous women. There could be a couple of women that don't like Tate and come together. That has happened to many men. That does not prove anything.
I mean, that's not something you make up in a vacuum.
No.
And to have...
Look, guys, tell me if I'm wrong. Just let me know in the comments. Does the girl look much more interested after hearing about what Tate did?
4 women come forward and say the same thing. That's powerful.
Yes.
Yet the UK authorities, the police took 6 years to investigate, which really...
I mean, guys, you see the freeze frame. Again, you
tell
me.
Conducted, in my opinion, no investigation at all, or at least not an effective one. The women's concerns were, in my opinion, pushed aside, weren't taken seriously. It went to the Crown Prosecution Service, which is the equivalent of your DA's office. And quite bizarrely, in my mind, the Crown Prosecution Service made a decision not to prosecute. That was in 2019. And that coincided with the Tates leaving the UK and I would say fleeing to Romania. I think they left Britain because of the allegations against them, and I believe they left Britain because they knew that there were other allegations and other criminal complaints that had been made or would be made.
Andrew Tate left for Romania after being found not guilty. Fleeing is fleeing in the midst of being accused. That means you're wanted by the police. He is not wanted by the UK authorities. He left after. There is no new...
Yeah, he thought that there was too much heat, right? That they would come after him some other way. He needs to be in a safer place. Ironically, it didn't seem to work out that way, did it?
Victims that I can see this come out. So he was found not guilty, it was dropped by the CPS, then he left. So the word fleeing coming from a lawyer does not make any sense here. He did not flee like he's doing in Romania right now. He's facing up to the situation and he may leave after, but he is waiting for the system to do its thing and prove his innocence
against them. And that's why he left.
He couldn't do that in Britain, and so he went to Romania to do it there. And then
why does this girl seem so interested, huh?
profit on it.
I think that's what the evidence demonstrates.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
Mm-hmm.
Big smile, happy eyes. You can't make this crap up, guys.
But, you know...
Look at that. Shining, radiant eyes like she's on a date and she's happy to be with you.
The problem with this is, you know, we met with the British police, and their view, at least what they said to us, was that, look, we felt there was enough evidence to prosecute. We passed it to the Crown Prosecution Service. Go speak to them. We don't know why they made the decision not to prosecute. Last year, we went to the CPS and asked them to revisit their decision, and they declined to do so, which I find personally quite incredible, not least because of the evidence against Tate in respect of the allegations made by the women of rape and sexual assault.
The CPS in the UK will decide whether to prosecute someone that's been arrested or not. They're taken to custody for 24 hours, they will look into the case and see if they got enough evidence. They released the Tate brothers because there wasn't enough evidence to prove they did them crimes, simple as. They thought they'd had enough, but actual CPS said they was not.
One of the women has got text messages saying, "I love raping you." I mean...
Anyway, on that freeze frame, we'll end the video. Hit the like, hit the sub, hit all the notifications. Buy my books like Hunter M, Adrian, Tom and Bobby, Dylan, Renaissance Press, Brian, Andrew, Alan, Armani, and Nicholas. Shout out to you, most recent purchase of both my books, Strategist Guide to Seduction and Quotes to Live By. You can find my books at bit.ly/heliosbooks. And if you'd like coaching, I do offer coaching services. That's my email there. theheliosblog@gmail.com. That's if you'd like to be a bit better with girls. Alright, thank you so much for listening, guys, especially if you listen to the end. I really do appreciate it. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.